So what we're going to do, I'd like to just invite up onto the stage the panel. So we have Lindsay Morgan, Marcus Hemsley, Andy Heaps, and Anne Stanley. Cool. Great, so welcome guys, and thanks very much for coming up. So it's a quick intro from me. Get rid of the clicker, it's causing problems. We have Lindsay Morgan, who's the Operations Director of Climb Online. We have Marcus Hemsley, who's the Director of the Fountain Partnership. We have Anne Stanley, who's the Director of Anicca. And we have Andy Heaps, who's the Operations Director of Return on Digital. So everyone's seen the bio and seen the intros, but I think what everyone in the audience is probably thinking is why you guys are not them up here on the stage at the Game On Celebration event. So why don't you give us the top line stats on your agencies and the numbers that got you here?
Sure. Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm Head of Operations, as Anthony said, at Climb Online. We are the digital marketing agency founded by Lord Sugar and apprentice winner Mark Wright. We're new kids on the block, really. We've only been going 2 years. We've had a rocket ship growth. I was the first to join the team 2 years ago. We've now got 40 staff members. We've got 3 offices, 2 in London. We've just recently opened in Bristol. We started off in our first year turning over about 1.6 million, and we're forecasted this year to do 5 million. So we've had quite a rapid pace in growth, getting us from where we were to where we are today. But it's been an exciting journey.
Great.
Marcus Hemsley, Director of Fountain Partnership. We have 24 staff, 1.5 million turnover. I think probably the reason I'm sitting here today is that in December we flew out to Ireland for a Premier Partner Award ceremony and came back with a little trophy. I was told to be modest on here, so yeah, we won Best Search Performance, so they stuck me up here.
30 more awards where that came from today.
Yes, Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Anne Stanley. I'm the Managing Director and Founder of Anicca Digital. We're based in Leicester. We've been around a bit longer. I think I've been AdWords qualified for over 10 years, and I got in the industry 15 years ago. So our growth has been a little bit slower, but there's 27 of us now, and we're just around the million. Okay.
I'm Andy, the Ops Director at Return on Digital. So we've been around for 8 years, give or take. We are a performance-driven agency, so everything we do is focused on performance and acquisition. Probably the biggest areas of growth we're seeing at the moment are across all of paid media, so paid search, paid social, programmatic. We're at about 35 people at the moment, based in Manchester, and we've just opened an office in London as well.
Good stuff. Good pedigree up on the panel. Okay, so to start us off then, Lindsay, why don't you start? What could you say were the key drivers of your success in the last 18 months? You mentioned it's been that rocket ship growth for Climb Online. What's driven that?
Sure. I mean, 18 months is pretty much our lifespan, really. And I'd say that there's 2 things, really. One has been we have really focused on client growth, so focusing on one key client and just really homing in on them and putting all our talent, really focus on growing them. That would be one of the biggest thing. I mean, it's the theory, build it and they will come, and that's what we really spent the first, I'd say, year doing with 2 of our key clients. And that obviously led on to referrals based on the success of those clients. The second thing, which is the biggest for me especially, is the people that we've hired and the culture that we have created. We've given people an opportunity to come in and use it as a platform to really make something of their career and not be afraid. I definitely think that when we started in the beginning, we were selling SEO campaigns and we didn't have anyone who did SEO. It's about not being nervous and just being bold and going for it and just taking the risks. I have some team members that are with me today who they pitched ideas of a side of the business that they really thought would work, and 2 years on now, that's some of our key services. So I think they are the 2 areas of the business that for us has catalyzed our growth.
Grace. Marcus.
18 months ago, we were sitting around as a board, was pulling our hair out. We were at 500,000 turnover, and we've been there for a couple of years. How do you actually get that growth? And one thing we realised we need to do was just to keep focusing on outcomes. I think one of the biggest mistakes in marketing is focusing on activities and all the sort of nice, flashy things that we could be doing for our clients, but actually starting with the core commercial principles. When we sit down with clients, we now ask them, how many customers do you want? How much do you want to pay for those customers? we look at getting a clear cost per acquisition, and then we start working the funnel. We look at the cost per clicks and the conversion rate required. And that started coming from us as directors. We had to start filtering that down to the staff, and going back to what you're saying about staff and culture. One thing we did, which was a tip another agency owner gave me, and it's brilliant, it's worked really well for us, is we do something called client in residence. So once every 2 weeks, each account manager will come and sit with me, and I'll pretend to be the client. And I will ask them those difficult questions. How much money have you made me? What are you doing with your time? And that helps the account managers. They don't really like it. I think there's a few sitting there. They probably hate being grilled. But going back to the activities versus outcomes again, their heads are in spreadsheets. They're looking at ad copy, etc. And just taking time out, sitting with a business owner and looking at things more commercially. That really started changing things. We started getting big results and then some great case studies, which we put forward at the end of last year. So
great. So really seeing things from the client's point of view.
Always. It's about money ultimately, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Ours was starting to work with more national brands, and the reason we were able to secure the contracts was because we were able to offer a breadth of services. So we'd always done search, both PPC and SEO, and then we bought a PR director that could really start to do content marketing and outreach in a really creative way, getting on the TV and the main press. And then last year, 18 months ago, we invested in somebody who'd come from a couple of high street brands on social, and she was a real geek. And what happened was suddenly you weren't focusing on a channel anymore, you were focusing on the holistic solution to that particular client's needs to grow. And it just meant the size of the contracts were bigger, the size of clients were bigger, and you weren't focusing on channels anymore, you were focusing on the actual result for the client. So it made a massive difference.
Great.
I think from our point of view, it's the maturity of the conversation that we have with our clients. So if you go back a few years, it was very much about, okay, so here's PPC and here's how we do PPC. And that's fine, that gets you a certain type of client and that gets you a certain way through the door. But if, like some of the guys here said, you really start to challenge the client or the prospect's business and you start to ask the client those difficult questions, then they start to see you as more of almost like a business partner or a consultant or a strategist than just a service or a delivery function. And you start to get yourself noticed at those different levels within the client's organisation and become indispensable to them. That's been the real key for us.
Mm-hmm. So it's understanding your client's business, not being scared of embracing new stuff, and almost becoming channel agnostic. Sounds like one of the themes. Great. Okay. So let's go. So next question is, what piece of advice would you have given your agency 2 years ago? If we're going to go back in time 2 years, you're going to speak to yourself as you were then. What would you have warned of? What advice would you have given? Marcus, do you want to start?
It's going to be okay. I think that's probably I think that you've got to keep pushing forward. You've got to keep challenging yourself. I think the beautiful thing about the industry we're in, guys, is it's the dawn of the internet. We're in a very profitable industry, and there's so much room for innovation. 10 years ago when I started playing around with Google AdWords, there wasn't quality score. We could bid on all sorts of things. Things keep changing, and it's great to be at the forefront of that. So I guess the times when we were at a lull, we were being a bit complacent. We were just taking the retainer clients, getting them an okay, good return on investment. But actually, things started changing. We really started thinking, actually, how can we innovate and how can we keep pushing? So I think it's that thing of telling yourself it's going to be okay if you keep calm and carry on, basically. Yeah.
There's been two things that have made a massive difference this year, and although we haven't grown quite as much as some of these other guys, it's still 100% in 2 years, so still okay. But the plans going forward are much more ambitious, and that was triggered by two things. First of all, coming on the Robert Craven program with Google, which was the Elevator program, which is the coaching we were talking about just a little while ago. That was amazing, but it made me realise that I needed to go back to school, and I'm quite a lot older than most of you guys, and I did my MBA education, nearly 30 years ago. So I got on something called the Goldman Sachs program, and I recommend you all go and have a look at it. It's like a free mini MBA, and I'm in the middle of it at the moment, and they're looking for you not to be thinking about 50% growth, but massive amounts of growth, and they give you the tools. It's through Oxford University, Birmingham University, Leeds. So the combination of the Elevator program and this program has just sort of opened my mind and the vision for the future, and it's been amazing.
So embrace it.
Embrace it and go back to school.
Lindsay?
Yeah, sure. Touching on what Marcus said as well, it's going to be all right, but just don't give up. There's been so many times where we've been what the hell are we gonna do now? And like that's okay. And I think that that's when we've had our best ideas, and the best like creative ideas have come from that moment. I think also, like the guys mentioned, there's a lot of innovation going on. Digital's changing really quickly, and new platforms are being introduced all the time. New different solutions for clients. So even if you give something a go and it doesn't really work and it might not work for your agency, it's okay, because something else is going to come along, that's revolutionary. So you can just like close that chapter and move on. I definitely say that for us as well, some of our key managers is finding people in your industry who like know more than you. Like Mark always says to us, like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I think that's really important, to just like find people around you who are brighter than you, they know more than you, and they can like teach you, how to take the next steps and develop yourself, which in turn will grow your agency and develop your clients as well.
Sounds like a combination of Marcus is asking direct questions and being the client, and sort of Lord Sugar maybe doing that with you guys. And
yeah, he doesn't know what digital is.
Very good. So Andy, what would you say, how has Return on Digital sort of pivoted to reflect those changes in the last 2 years? So we've talked about the need for change, the change in consumer behaviour, the amount of signals we have and data, but what have you sort of actually changed in the last 2 years or so?
I think there's probably two things. One is more of a general philosophy that we've seen change in the agency, and that is not being afraid to make big decisions. So whether those decisions are people related, team related, structure related, product, technology, all the different things that we have available to us. I think the big realization was that if you stay safe, then you get left behind, just because of how fast moving the industry is. And actually the agencies who succeed are the ones who are prepared to take a bit of a risk, make a bit of a bold statement, and challenge the norm to a certain extent. And I think the other thing is just kind of linking back to what I was saying before, changing the conversation that you have internally with teams and with clients. So making it much more about the client's business, about the customer who's buying from the client, and making it channel agnostic, not even talking about specific channels to deliver those sales or that growth for your client's business, but talking about how long does it take someone who's never heard of your brand before to go from that position to being a loyal customer, and what do they need to do along the way? How long is that journey? What competitors are out there? What behaviours do they demonstrate? And as we get more and more audience data available to us, and we can start to analyse some of the more behavioural aspects of search and social, we can start to build a true multi-channel, multi-device strategy for them. And these are things that a couple of years ago, a lot of people were talking about, and pretty much no one was actually doing, because it's really difficult to do. But I think we've moved into that stage now where it's actually possible to do. And the specific elements that we have within our agency, whether it's PPC, paid social, SEO, they're just the outcome. They're just the delivery mechanisms to service this customer or this prospect, and to get the right message in front of them at that point in that conversion journey. And that takes a real mindset shift for an agency who do tend to be relatively siloed in their structure.
Mm-hmm. And a big leap of faith, I guess, if you've worked with clients on a performance basis historically to help, as in a leap of faith required from them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We've started to take some risks. I don't mind taking risks. I've taken risks sort of in the past, but we bought our own property, completed this week. We're applying for planning permission to do that up and have a really nice place for us to all work, because it's all about keeping the staff. Integrating channels has been quite an interesting thing, but being prepared to try new things, and we're heavily into training. There's some great opportunities in the training and trying to get really good staff, but really investing in the staff and trying to, you don't join Anicca for Christmas, you're there for life, it's a career for people, and we really want to look after, just silly things like giving people gyms membership. Amazing, the motivation that's been. It's just little things like that make a big difference.
The goodwill it generates, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, we've invested a lot. We didn't always make good profits, because we always invested back in bringing people in, bringing technology in. So it's being prepared to work for the future rather than just now.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I wouldn't say we're constantly pivoting, we're constantly trying to change and react to the market. We know that mobile traffic has increased massively, but I always communicate to the staff and to the client to look, we do two core services, traffic and conversion. So if we're off target, is it a traffic issue or a conversion issue, or is it both? You know, ultimately what it is. With mobile, with more people coming in from mobile, then there's a conversion issue, so we need to work on that. We need to actually look at rebuilding web pages, starting with mobile, extrapolating it to desktop. But I think if you stick to those core principles, traffic, conversion, acquisition, and then you can assimilate all of the new stuff in it as we go along.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say just summarising kind of what these guys have said, we definitely focus on the client. We spend a lot of time with our clients. Some of our big clients, we go down there and spend like days upon time with them, and it's about their needs and getting a solution for them, and all the channels kind of like fall into place when you understand what it is that your client wants. If anything ever happens and there's any issues or concerns with our clients, like we're getting on that train, we're even getting on that plane. We've done that to go and to be with the client and spend time with them. And I think also we've moved into more creative, so integrating creative in terms of when looking at if you're a customer and you're landing on the client's website, what are they seeing? What is the branding? What is the logo? What is the website looking like? And, bringing in a creative solution as well. Obviously, social is a big player at the moment that we're really focusing on. And when they land on those websites, what are we doing? What's optimization? We're focusing a lot recently on CRO. That's been quite a big change recently in the last, I'd say, 6 months at Climb Online. But it does all really fall back to starting with the client and our clients are literally everything. If like I said, we've done a lot of air miles and miles in the car, and I think if you fall back on that, I remember I've spoken previously at the Google event, and I was talking to some people afterwards, and they came to me afterwards, and they were like talking about some of their concerns with their clients, and I was like, okay, so when did you last see them? And they were like, oh well, we haven't. And I think if you need to start there, and everything else will fall into place.
Mm-hmm. Great. So we've got some great themes coming through around understanding our clients better and trying to adapt our service offering. So to wrap up then, what would you say if you had one thing to describe what you're going to focus on in the next 2 years as an agency? What is that one theme if you're going to condense that down? Anne, should we start?
Okay, so ours is integrating social and search. So it's I think we're talking at Brighton SEO on this, but it's the idea about looking at the audience and using the data you can get from audience targeting in social and display, and then going across and using the amazing remarketing techniques in AdWords to get to them.
Very good.
Can we go next, me?
Go.
You've all been there. We know it's 3 months into a campaign, and a very sheepish account manager turns up and says, the client wants to speak to you, they're not getting the results they hoped, I think they're going to leave. I want to stop that from happening. So the big thing I'm looking at is just improving forecasting. We've got data. There's no reason why we can't forecast what the likelihood is going to be at various click-through rates and conversion rates for our clients once we get their cost per acquisition. So the big thing I'm working on is forecasting, because I think we've got so much data out there, guys, we should be able to take the risk out of marketing.
Mm-hmm. Great. Andy?
I think it's agility and it's proactivity. So the ability to recognise either a potential problem or a potential opportunity on a client campaign, and the ability to step in and do something about that before it becomes a problem, and to make the necessary changes in resource, skills, whatever, internally to do that, rather than always feeling like you're on the back foot and waiting for the client to come to you and say, we're not happy, we've got a problem, or what do we need to do here, and being reactive. Because I can guarantee 99% of clients I've ever worked with in my career will appreciate you going to them proactively and unexpectedly with ideas of how to grow and expand their business.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, we've recently, that's our biggest thing that we're moving forward. We're looking at is, ensuring that we are proactive. We're doing a lot more focus on client management and actually servicing our clients, and looking at how we service them, what's working, what's not working. Also, we're about to roll out a digital marketing course, so we're looking more at educating our clients. We're doing webinars and different free seminars for clients that is going to be coming up over the next year ahead. So educating them, you know, as well as our team. So I think that because obviously everything's changing all the time, and not to repeat myself, you've got to be fast paced and, you know, not afraid to just, you know, jump on the rocket ship and hold on, and, you know, learn it as fast as you can so you're delivering, you know, the best service to your client.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff. So I love the idea of forecasting. So it's happy clients who understand what they're going to get means less problems for your account managers day to day, which means client retention and, as I mentioned earlier as well, people retention as well.
And if we can't help them, you turn them away. That's the thing. If the forecasts don't stack up, if the conversion rate needs to be 30%, then you tell them beforehand, you manage expectations. I think we owe that to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Fantastic. So we're going to leave it there, guys. So if everyone could join me in thanking our panelists, first of all.